But we can get started here with our first segment. KO and Sammy reunited and challenged the Usos. Of course, they reunited on SmackDown. KO coming to the rescue of Sami Zayn against Jimmy and Jay. Um, Reuniting on SmackDown after a heartfelt promo between Sammy and Kevin Owens, basically going, if you're not going to team up with me, I wanted you to be my friend, and all that stuff that they kind of play on leading up to this. Of course, coming up on Monday night, heated, passionate promo between the two teams, setting up a match for WrestleMania 39, having a little brawl there, and of course, Roman Reigns arrives. But what do you guys think about this match finally getting there, finally getting the setup? And we're getting that match at the Showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania 39.
Well, looking at the story, obviously, like we always say, it's the best story going in wrestling today. But to finally see how they came together, I was the one that was the most curious as to how they're finally going to reunite. Kevin Owens for the longest time, being so stubborn, thinking about what happened at Survivor Series, leading all the way up to now, and then finally all it took was for Sammy to tell him that you're my brother, and I love you. And sometimes that's all it takes. I think we all have siblings. Sometimes that's all it takes for you to finally, look at the error of your ways and then go help. And then we definitely, and now we see it's going to be them against the Usos. Rumor has it that apparently it's upright. It might be the main event of night one, either them or Rhea and Charlotte. Honestly, I think it should be this because it's the best story in wrestling right now. So it would make sense for this to main event night one. But yeah, love the direction the story is going in, and we're definitely going to get a great match out of it at WrestleMania. I'm curious as to what happens after this. How they can continue the story, because it looks like now we're going to start seeing the storyline evolve to now the bloodline breaking from within. So yeah, definitely very interesting.
Yeah, I feel like we all kind of knew like this. Obviously, this was the direction it was going to go once Sammy turned on Roman and everything, and now he's trying to take out the bloodline. Obviously, we knew who was going to come to his side. I think for me, it was just it was the whole like I love you, but I feel like as big as it was for him to turn on Roman, I don't know, maybe I just wanted a little more in that, like bringing KO in, I guess. It was just like, oh, I love you as a friend, this and that, and then it was kind of like the typical, oh, he's getting beat up, oh, look who's going to pop out. I don't know.
WrestleMania is in a week, so they kind of had to rush it. So
no, I know. But I feel like this has also been like, come on, since Sammy faced, or since Royal Rumble, since Sammy, I mean, who knows? Maybe they were, had to figure shit out. Are we actually going to put him in the main event, or is this really the route that we're going to go? And I feel like this was the route that they were going to go. Like,
yeah.
Like, they put too much into Cody, have to leave the Cody Roman. Yes, Sammy got really hot and became this really big part, but we still got to make him feel just as important. I just feel like the reeling in Kevin could have been a little bit more. I don't know. You could have probably even saved it for next SmackDown, maybe like literally right before WrestleMania. But, I mean, I guess you need them together at least, for a good 2 shows before the thing. But it's what has to happen, and it's what's working, and it's what's making this storyline so great because of you actually have 2 brothers and then 2 guys who have literally been working together for so long.
Yeah.
So it is still a good like story within itself.
Yeah, I think I like the way that they kind of brought it together. Of course, as Brian said, they only had 2 weeks to get to Mania, so they kind of had to put this together. And we're probably going to have that 6-man tag between the Bloodline and Cody and KO and Sin. So you kind of needed them together. I think I just want the match because I think that you're having 4 of the best workers in a tag team match. at WrestleMania, and we've seen these guys sell out. We've seen these guys do big time moments, moves, and pay-per-views and stuff like that. So to get that at WrestleMania at least and get it, I'm more excited for that. The build there has been. They bled this bloodline thing and have gotten gold every time out of it. So it's like some things are going to miss, right? Like we're not going to get Paul Heyman in the promo with this, right? He's mainly with Roman Reigns and stuff like that. But I wanted to ask you guys on the term of Sami Zayn basically alluding to Jay wanting to overthrow Roman. Like he basically kind of spilled the beans of what Jay ultimate goal is right there, right? So it's like there's kind of like a plant. There's kind of like a plant there, like with Sami saying that.
I am so glad that you just brought that up right now because I actually saw something online earlier that's been making me think all day. The way this story has been going, does it not make sense for Jay to be the one to dethrone Roman and be champion? When you go back,
I saw that.
How the bloodline first started, and Jay was facing Roman for the title, and
that shit was brutal.
The whole story started from there.
That man was just obliterating his family, and still got them to work for him.
But I mean,
that's not a heel. I don't know what is.
Like Jay, like even from that run, everybody kind of was like, okay, Jay has something like from the tag team. Like we didn't know too much about Jimmy, of course, because they were kind of like just a tag team that always worked as a tag team. You know, he had the Uso Penitentiary, but it was like, are these guys ever going to be a solo act? Kind of like the New Day, kind of, right? Like they kind of mirror each other, right? So to sit there and see Jay put in that light, like, yo, he can hang. He can put on a 30-minute match. He can go at that level. It could potentially set up future down the line opportunities for him. Like main event Jey Uso has been a thing people have always been saying about Jey Uso. SmackDown announcers have been saying it. So to sit there and think that he could possibly turn on Roman and eventually help Cody win or actually be the guy that breaks up the bloodline, that's an interesting nugget that's in play here, right? Like, what if the Usos lose at night 1 of Mania and Roman's berating them? Even in the post-match stuff, like even in the post-brawl stuff where Jimmy was kind of saying, hey, I didn't like how I was being chastised for not able to get Jay back faster, right? Like you guys were kind of shitting on me to bring him back, and he's here, and you guys should have trusted me. Even that little play, like you can even see Jimmy getting in the middle of that. Like everyone's kind of like against each other, right? Like Roman also basically berating Jey Uso, saying, yo, like, are you with me again? Are you like, he's questioning him again. And like, even to accept the tag team match on the Bloodline's behalf, you can see every little step there of this is going to break up at some point. Like, this is going to be that.
And I feel, for sure. And if they lose the titles, I think that's the first big crack that's going to come. Probably Roman coming out, be like, are you serious? Like, you let this happen. You're letting them take down our family. And most likely he's going to come after Jay for sure. And that's going to be, you guys, as much as we read stuff online, all you keep seeing, I've kept hearing is Jay and Roman for SummerSlam or whatever. But I think that's all going to determine on what happens, at WrestleMania. I'm hearing other reports too. So, but I think, like we just said, Jay to really take Roman down, it would have to be him. Just because,
Just a long story, like just Jay was the one first initiating that. And then even think about Jimmy Uso basically throwing in the towel and stuff like that. Jay basically saying not quitting that match. So it's just like you see the seeds being planted from long ago, and now we're potentially getting that. But that SummerSlam matchup, even if a title's not on the line, you know what I mean? Maybe like Jey Uso first Roman Reigns for SummerSlam, like that's another thing to how they can
keep strong enough. Will be strong enough at that point where they don't need a world title. So
yeah. But I'm just saying in general, just like I don't know how they get there, but it's just interesting to see that that's even a potential matchup, like to be main event type of star matchup at SummerSlam, like that's gonna it's in play, right? So continuing with this bloodline stuff is just like we're getting everything out of it that we kind of need right now, and it's like We're getting the tag team matchup. However we got there, we're getting it. It's going to be awesome, and it's just going to continue. But it's going to be interesting to see if the Bloodline is